Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Lessons with Lindsey Live. Happy Wednesday. Ooh, today I have someone super special for y'all, and I can't wait for y'all to meet her because she's so super dope. And I met her, like 2-3 years ago, and I'm not going to keep talking about it, but just know that she's super dope when I bring her on. And so, everybody, I would like to introduce Bria Riddick.
Hey.
Girl, that face. Hey, girl.
Hey.
How are you today?
Good.
Good. Please go ahead and take this time to introduce yourself and tell the people who you are.
Okay, so my name is Bria, aka Girl That Fades. I am a barber. I've been cutting for about 6 years. I just moved into my own double suite in the Sound Commons. I am just thankful for where I'm at today in my career. I have a full schedule. I have clients that love me. I love my clients. I love what I do. So, yeah, that's a little bit about me. I'm a mommy, fiance, all that good stuff.
I love it. So let's jump right on in here and talk about being a female barber.
Yes.
What was the inspiration behind that? How did you get started with that? Walk us through the journey.
Okay, so actually, when I was younger, my mother owned a unisex salon. So there was barbers on one side and stylists on the other side. So she owned it with her best friend, and I used to be in there all the time with them. So that's kind of when I started getting into hair, because what a lot of people don't know is I have my cosmetologist license, but I just specialize in men's hair. Like that's the field I gravitated to most. So I started off doing women's hair. It didn't really click. And, I was like, you know what? I'm going to just go for men's hair because this is something I've always been interested in. And I started in it and I just loved it. Like, I don't know. It's just my brain just clicks with clippers. Like, that's just what I was put here to do. Like, now I'm not going to say like I was just doing good cuts out, off the rip. Some people in the beginning got some messed up edge ups, some messed up cuts, but I was happy. I was like, oh, okay, hair, this look good. So I loved it. So I just kept pushing and I didn't give up, even though it was hard getting clients, all of that stuff. I just kept pushing and I was like, you know what, this is something I want to do. And I'm not going to give up. Y'all just going to have to accept me in this field.
Yes, let's talk about that.
Yes.
Barbers are you mostly see male barbers. It's a male-dominated field. So you being a female coming into it and being the age that you are, being young like you are, how was that transition? Like, what pushback did? What was going on with that?
Can you repeat that question? It like went out for a little bit. I'm sorry.
No problem. So with you being a female in a predominantly male-dominated industry, what kind of obstacles did you face? Like, what was it like starting out, getting clients, trying to find a hair cutting and all that?
So it was actually difficult. I'm sure any female barber will tell you it is so easy to quit when you first start because you run into a good example would be this one guy that I had, and I always use him as an example because I literally, like this day, I was like, I'm gonna end up fighting somebody. I got hair. Because I was in the shop, I was dedicated. I used to get to I would go to the shop every day. I would stay in there. I would take walk-ins, always with a smile on my face. I would try my best. And this guy walks in and I'm like, hey, I can take care of you. And he like looks at me and walks right past me and goes to the owner. And he was like, you got time for a cut? And he was like, no, but she can take you. So then he walks to the other guy in the shop and he was like, you got time for a cut? He was like, nah, but Bria's good. Like she can take you. And so he like about to walk out. And I was like, I can take care of you if you need a haircut. And he was like, I gotta be seen in public. I'm not getting my hair cut by you. I was like, oh. So like for a moment, just because he was so rude, I was just standing there like, excuse me. So I'm sitting there and I'm just trying to process my thoughts. And he walks out and he goes next door to the tattoo shop. And I was like, no, I'm sick of this. So I grab my little business card and I go next door and I walk in there. I'm like, this is my business card with my Instagram on it so you can look at my work and see how stupid you just look. And I walk out and I was like, I'm sick of this. Because it's like, when you're a female and you're trying your hardest, like you're in there just like everybody else, you're, putting in the work everybody else puts in. And people are just constantly like doubting you just because you're a female, it doesn't even it frustrates you because it's like, what am I using to cut your hair? My hands. So why it doesn't matter if I'm a woman, if I'm a man, if I was a dog, if I know how to cut hair, I know how to cut hair. Like, so it frustrated me. And it took a lot of uh, determination. The people I had around me, uplifting me, like, don't even worry about him. The barbers in the shop, they would be like, oh, people just hate, like, don't even pay them no attention. And just my own personal drive, like, I had to keep going. I was like, nope, this is just giving me fuel to keep pushing harder, and I'm gonna prove y'all wrong. I was like, y'all think I can cut? I'm gonna just keep going harder and harder because obviously y'all just hating. Like that's all it is. Like you gotta tell yourself, like, they're just a hater. Just don't even take next client.
Right, because that's facts. Every client is not your client, and that's okay. Everyone's not for you. When you get your people, you always know who's for you, and then they keep coming back. So it's like,
exactly. It doesn't matter because eventually, like you said, that's so true. You'll get your people because over the years, I have found my target client, and my target client loves me, and I love them, and we mesh, and we keep business and money going. And I don't got to worry about those people. Like, okay, cool. Now I'm at a point you don't want a female to cut your hair. Okay, like I don't have to prove myself. So,
and that's the whole thing. It doesn't happen overnight. How long have you been cutting hair?
so for 6 years.
So
Yes.
you've been in this for a minute.
Yes, 6 years. And it took me, I started off at Sports Clips, and it took me at least a year, 2 years to start building up a clientele. And it was because I was serious and I took the time to like really study my craft. So definitely took a while. It was not overnight.
So it's like to me, like barbers are like, well, hair in general is ever evolving. It's like one minute you want to fade, the next minute you want this, the next minute you want that. How do you cope with like the constant trends and everything that happens in the hair industry?
So I just pretty much with myself, I'm always investing in myself, whether it's going to a hair show or a class. I watch a ton of YouTube videos. Shout out to Get Beam, 360 Jeezy, Tune 45, all of them. I watch a ton of people on YouTube just to make sure that I'm always educating myself, always keeping myself up to date with like the newest fades or whatever that's coming out. Because I know there was a guy that came into the shop and asked me for a South of France. I think that's what it's called. And it's basically a mohawk, but it's a mohawk that starts off as like a taper. And I was like, what are you talking about? And so, like, and Google is your best friend too. So, number one key is to act confident, like you know what they're talking about, and then turn to the side and Google it. And then you're like, okay, I got you. And then just like, once you know the technique of how to fade, you can pretty much do any haircut as long as you have that technique down, like how to knock out lines, and then you just pay attention to angles. But that's how I keep myself up to date, is just watching like YouTube videos and making sure I'm just investing in education.
Yes, I love that. I know when I first met you, I think it was You're the Female Boss. It was one of those events.
Yes, it was. Yep, with Janina and photo shoots.
Yes, yes. And
Yes.
I know that you had talked about then, like, you were trying to get more into like motivational speaking and public speaking to help like young girls and everything. How has that been going? I know with the pandemic, it kind of slowed it down, but I remember last year we just spoke at an event together. So
Yes.
I see you out here.
So I have been just kind of like using, because at first I kept feeling like I had to do something different from like Girl That Fades. Like I was like, okay, well, I have Girl That Fades, and then I'll have Girls That Network, and then I have, if I'm being a motivational speaker, I need a name for this. And then I was like, okay, this is just, I'm doing a lot, and then I'm losing my brand in all these different things because I'm not really, niching down this one thing. So I just started saying like, I'm going to use, because my story is me starting off as a female barber. That took the most dedication and the most guts. Because when I was younger, I was super shy and I didn't talk to nobody. And that's what made me want to like really get to these young girls. Because I'm like, yo, these girls, you have so much potential if you can break out of that shell, and just like leave your past in the past. So I was like, what made me do that was cutting hair, not anything else. Like nothing else brought me out of that shell except cutting hair. Like I had to talk to my clients and I like money. So I was like, if I want to make money, I gotta have good customer service. I have to be open, I have to get out of this shell that I'm in. So I just been taking on speaking engagements as Girl That Fades and just trying to really use that story to like encourage these young girls to like find something they're good at and let it motivate them to, break out of that shell and just let it be your light. Like you are having a hard time breaking out of the shell, find something that you enjoy doing and be passionate about it, and you'll find yourself opening up more and more and more. So yeah, that's how I get into that.
Yes, and I do remember too the brunches. You were doing a lot of the brunches, and
Yep.
I love those. I was at the virtual brunch. I love that too.
You were. And I miss brunches. COVID kind of stopped the brunches. Like for me, it's just I'm really passionate about women's empowerment because I just from everything it took with the whole being a female barber and then just seeing like what my mother went through. She was a single mother and my grandmother, just the women around me. I just feel like women are really strong and people don't realize like how much we go through, how much we have to overcome. They just think like, oh, that's just being a woman. Like we'll get over it. And it's like, no, we need empowerment. Like we need somebody to come in and say like, you're doing the best you can. You got this. Like, so I miss the brunches, but COVID is in the way with that.
I completely understand. But that is real. And that's part of the reason like the month of March is Women's History Month. And I wanted to highlight a lot of powerful and I feel like are influential women and women who are just doing things different and against the grain. So that was part of the reason why I brought you on. But I know we've had conversations before, like both of us being mothers and being full-time entrepreneurs, having these different hats that you have to wear all the time. It is a lot. So how do you juggle all your hats?
Oh gee, I'm still figuring it out. The thing that I figured out is most important is to always, always, always make sure I make that time for my daughter. She has to come first. Like if I'm not making sure that I'm spending time with her, it shows, like that's my baby. I have to nurture her. She's going to grow up one day and I want her to grow up and say, I don't want her to be like, oh, you just will always worry about work. I want her to say, my mom was a boss and she took care of me. Like I want her to see that. So I just make sure that I'm working on getting a schedule. Like you have to have a schedule that you stick to and making sure that I, block out days where I'm like, no matter what, you cannot work on this day. This is family day.
Right.
Don't try and squeeze in because before I would be so motivated and just trying to get to that next level, I'd be like, oh, I can just squeeze this in the morning, or I can just squeeze this in while she's taking a nap, or da-da-da. And then you end up finding out that you're working that whole day. You were supposed to take off for your baby, So it's just really about being disciplined and, having a schedule and sticking to it. So, yeah.
That's facts. Listen, I tell people all the time, I have my phone, I have my planner, I have all the things because I need all the things to keep my life in order. Like there's so much, but I have to make sure that I have a lot of time for my baby.
Yeah.
Whether it's just us watching a movie, painting nails, or
right.
store run, and we don't have devices on that store run. We're just talking and sharing stuff back and forth with each other because that is important. And I do, like for me, I want my child to look at me like, oh, my mommy did all these things, so I know.
Exactly. And they love it so much. Like I don't like. You can just see their little eyes lighting up. Like that time they're like, oh my God, yes. Like I got my mom, So they love that.
They do. And they love that time. And then they want to be like us. So it's like, you got to make sure that you're being
right
a role model. And I think about that constantly. Like in my putting out the kind of woman that I would want her to be. Am I acting like I would want her to act? Am I, thinking like how I want her to think? And granted, she's her own person, so she's gonna think and
Right.
do things the way she's working in her mind. But I want to be a good example
Right. They're still watching us. Exactly.
every day.
My daughter was I remember because I have her at work with me a lot too sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
She gets out of school and she was like, can I call your clients in for you? And I was like, yeah, sure. So like I'll have my clients come in. They usually wait outside in the hallway. And she'll open the door and she'll be like, hi, my mom is ready for you now. And one day she was like, hi, welcome to Girls That Fade. You can come in. And I was like, how do you know about Girls That Fade? Like, what are you talking about?
I love it. I mean,
Like, they watch us and they pay attention and they are like, my mom is a boss and I'm a boss too.
exactly. I love it. I
Yeah.
love it so much. And it's, again, being out here, being a mom, having your own business, it's like juggling two babies. It's like having, this is my baby because I gave birth to this. This is also my baby because I gave birth to that too. And it's always that constant like teetering of the two. But when you incorporate them, I found for me, and you can expand on this if I'm hitting on anything.
Mm-hmm.
I found that when you kind of incorporate them into the business, into your work, like they feel like they're part, they feel like they're helping, they feel motivated, they feel encouraged, and then they kind of get an interest in it.
Yeah.
Your daughter, she wants to, she's your greeter now.
Yes, exactly. Yes. No, I can definitely agree with you on that. That is a fact, 100%. And I actually started doing that a couple of years ago because after I went to Janita's event and I started like just networking with other women that were also mothers and entrepreneurs, I started noticing how much they had their children involved in what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, I have her at work with me all the time, but I'm usually trying to get her to like sit down, watch this, do this, something where I'm like, just stay distracted. And once I started giving her duties, like this girl is 5, she knows how to fold towels now. Like she will sweep, but once I got her involved, she was like better, like she actually, it wasn't so many times where I was like, hey, don't, come over here or don't touch that, all right, that's enough of telling the long story. She was involved, like she loved it. So yes, that's definitely, you hit the nail on the head.
It's so real. They watch everything. So Girl That Fades. In 5 years, where will Girl That Fades be? What do you see?
So I just opened up a double suite and I am hoping to find another female barber or a barber, just a barber in general, preferably a female, just because the name is Girls That Fade, and I want to empower the female barbers to work in there with me. It is a huge suite. It's definitely going to be luxurious. It's called Girls That Fade Luxury Grooming Suite. I'm so excited. So my reason for starting that is because in 5 years, I want to either be ready to open my barbershop or already have my barbershop open. And I don't know. I'm thinking that could be a franchise. Yeah, I saw that vision. Now, this isn't something that I've said out loud to people, but I do believe that. Like, I want to start as a barbershop and see how it goes. And I feel like if Sports Clips can do it, why can't Girls That Fade? You know what I mean? Like, Sports Clips taught me a lot. That's where I started. It's majority female barbers. It would just be, I just really want to empower women in that field and have a place where we can go and we're like accepted, and the people coming there already know that they're getting a female barber, so they're not going to be like, oh, females. So I really just want to eventually own my own barbershop, and hopefully, not even hopefully, I'm going to manifest it. It's going to turn into a franchise.
Yes, words have power.
Yeah.
I will have that barber. I love it. So y'all heard it here first, though. On Lessons with God, the Girls That Fades is going to be a barbershop.
Yes.
Into a franchise, and you will see them all over the place here soon and very soon. Okay.
Definitely. Definitely.
I love it. And I saw too that you're actually starting to teach classes.
Yes. So I just started classes. Yes. So my goal was to just start doing it because I kept saying for like the longest time I was like, I want to do this or I could see myself doing this, and then I was like, why don't you just do it? Like stop saying I want to do it and not doing it and just do it. So February 28th, I did my first class and I was terrified. I was like, I'm scared nobody's gonna come. Like, who am I to teach somebody? And I actually ended up selling out. And I had some amazing people come and we were engaged and everybody was learning. They were asking questions and it was just like the best class ever. Like, I loved them and I had so much fun. And I was like, why did it take me so long to just do this? So that was like my motivation for that. And I was like, I'm going to just keep doing this, preferably every 2 months. I'm going to try to do like a group class, a little learn. And then I also just started offering one-on-one classes. So that way they can actually bring a model. We'll sit there together. They'll cut the hair and I'll just kind of walk them through like hands-on. This is how you do this,
Yes, I love that. That is so dope. And especially for other like female barbers, they might be more comfortable learning from another woman who's been in the industry, who's been in the business, and like help them kind of maneuver the ins and outs. So I am completely here for that. That is so super.
Yes. I'm learning that I have to use like I found because I see you talk about purpose a lot, and I'm slowly figuring out that my purpose is to just empower women, and I do that through Girl That Fades. So whether it's empowering female barbers or it's empowering other business women or just a woman on the street that's walking and she looks like she's down, like that is my thing. Like I have to. That's my goal. Girl, hold your head up. Like that's and I love like I want to be that place where if a female barber in Virginia starts out and she's like, I don't know where to go to learn anything, nobody is accepting me. She can be like, oh look, Girl That Fades. I'll go to, so
you be that safe haven for female barbers. I love it. I'm here for it. You said something when we were talking about the classes that's so important. It's like when we get these ideas, when we get these thoughts, if it's like hitting at you, you're supposed to do something with it. I know we can let the doubt and the fear and the negative thoughts creep in and hold us back. But then when you do it and you see the response that you get, it's like, oh snap, I was supposed to be doing
exactly.
It's for you. It's for you, and it's gonna work however it's supposed to work when you're doing it for your purpose. Like it can't do anything but work. And I wish. And I'm working on it. That's part of why I'm here right now. And that's part of why I have you here, so that people can understand when it's on you to do, when it's in your head, when it's gnawing at your heart, when it's constantly in your brain, that's something you're supposed to go out and put into the world. That's something that people have been eating. That's something that people have been waiting for. It's not for nothing. It's for a reason. The worst that can happen is like one person show up. But then that's one person that you were supposed to contact.
That one person, and you make it look like there was a millionaire.
Right, that one person deserved it. That one person was supposed to be there. That maybe y'all were supposed to just be one-on-one. Like don't get sidetracked with numbers and you want this big thing and that big thing. It won't always be big. Sometimes it's supposed to be small. It's supposed to be you and one other person.
That's a fact.
So I'm completely here for it. I'm completely here for doing anything that makes you happy. I'm happy that you started doing the brunches. I'm happy that you started doing all that. Like you said, it ties into your purpose. It ties into what you're supposed to be doing, which is empowering women, giving them a safe space and the confidence. And your story in itself is what helps. Telling that story, it helps somebody else hearing that story. And it's a whole 360 of therapy going on. You're inspiring and over things and healing, and you're motivating them to get started and try their best. I love it. I'm here for it. I even knew when I met you, I was like, this is so dope. Like, I thought that there was the world.
Thank you.
And I was like, Oh, snaps! Because like my mom, she has a tapered cut, and she's always had a tapered
Yeah.
cut, but she's always had male barbers. Like so,
Yeah.
when I met you, and I was like, and I saw you on the phone, I was like, girl, that's me. Like she does
Yeah.
haircut. Like is she gonna do like a
Yes,
bob?
girl.
And like no,
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
for it.
And I love that too because I get my female clients in there that have always went to a male, and it's nothing against males. I have a ton of male barbers that I know that are fantastic. It's just like when you have that female barber, it's kind of like you get a little bit of a salon feel, but you still get your nice tapered cut. Like we gossip everything. One of my female clients, she comes in every Sunday, 9 a.m., and we would watch Power together.
Yes.
Like we would be ready. Like we would come in with our coffee, be like, "Girl, did you watch it yet?" No. Okay, come on, let's. And we would cut her hair, and we'd be talking, and we'd be like, why is she doing that?" And then we get done, and she's just like, "Oh my god, I love this! Like I love it," And it's a different feel. Like I love what I do.
Listen, a female loves to get her hair done, and so whether it's a shortcut or a bob or some weave or whatever, it makes us feel good, and it's a therapy for us. And when you can chit chat with the person doing your hair, even if it's with clippers, it's therapeutic. It's
Exactly.
so you get to do that, and I see that for you, and I love that for you. That you give these women a safe space.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Let's go back to these brunches because I was really sad that I never was able to attend one in person. And I love the virtual one because I love different speakers talking about different topics and everything. So, what started the brunches?
So the brunches was started from. So I started Girls That Network. Pretty much what Girls That Network is it's basically a platform I created, and I take everything I learned about marketing myself as a female barber because I feel like that was a very difficult area to like market to as far as finding like your target client. I'm dealing with men that are used to going to men, and I'm coming in and I'm like, hey, I'm a female, but trust me. So I learned a lot about networking. I learned a lot about marketing. I learned a lot about just really when it came to business, being a business person. Mm-hmm. So I created Girls That Network to kind of just pull together other business women and just say like, hey, like we got to start getting on our stuff. Like we need to be legit businesses. All the questions that I had when I first started, I was having a hard time finding out the answers. I spent a ton of money on LegalZoom, making an LLC, which is totally not necessary. I could have saved a lot of money, but again, I didn't have that place that I could have went to learn about that. So I created Girls That Network to kind of just have these events where we network, we come together, and we just share gems and information. And so I was like, I want to do this event, but I want to do it different. I want it to be like different than what you usually see. So I started the Girls That Network brunch tour. And I was like, oh, that's going to be fun. And we're going to tour like all the local Black owned brunch restaurants in the 757. And so I just started looking up places. And the first person that I came in contact with was Chef Ponder, which I don't know if you've ever been to one of his brunches, but oh my God. I was like, yes, this is perfect. And, and he was with it. He was like, yes, dramatic, luxury. I'm here for it. Like networking, let's do it. And I was like, okay, let's do it. So, having him as my first stop for the brunch, that just made me like super excited. So then we went all out at that event. We shared information. I made people like switch tables and mix up because I feel like when people go to networking events, they don't actually network.
Listen.
So that's why I kind of use like food to kind of just bring people together because everyone loves food. At least I do. So, and women, we love brunch. So I was like, we got food, we got mimosas, and we're going to network and I'm going to get everybody feeling good. And then I'm going to say like, no, you're not going to sit with your best friend, or you can sit with your best friend, but you and your best friend are going to get up and y'all are going to talk to somebody else that's with their best friend, and y'all are going to share business tips. And I force people like, hey, did you give out any business cards yet? Oh, no. Oh, okay. Let me see your cards. All right, let's go get these cards to somebody. Like you have to actually network. And then when I'm in those spaces, my brunches are usually like more intimate because again, my target woman that I'm marketing to is a woman that's more on the shy side and struggles with like she wants to start a business, but she's like, dang, I'm like too scared to get out here and ask me questions. So I have more intimate events that's like 25 people or less, and I force people out of that shell. I'm like, we gonna get you what you need to get when you come here. Because obviously you come here because you want something, and then you just be too scared to take that step or put yourself out there to like get that information that you need. So
and that's mad important. I didn't even mean to cut you off. I do apologize. It's so important to learn how to network. Like networking to me is almost like a lost art. Like you go to these events and you kind of scope out the room, you get a feel for it. You might approach people, or a person might approach you and give you a business card, and there's like no follow-up. You don't know what to do after you talk to the person, or even what to say. You don't know how to present yourself, introduce yourself. Like it's a skill set, and if you don't have it can be very intimidating to be in a room with people. It's like, what do I say? What do I do? Yes, I have this business, but how do I present it to the people? How do I know who I am? How do I intentional about these connections? And I feel like that's a whole thing. Listen, a minute. But people are very intimidated, especially when you're like a new business or a smaller business in a room full of business people who've been out here for a minute, people who've been in here, people who got millions of dollars. Like I'm in the room with millionaires. So I'm sitting there like,
let me pretend that I'm a millionaire too.
I'm sitting here and act like I know what's going on.
Exactly. But it's intimidating. And I know at one of my events, we had a lady there. She was actually older and she had a business idea and she was just too afraid to like, she had started it, but she didn't really start it. And she was like, I was like, well, do you have anything like where you're promoting your business? Like, she was like taking pictures of what she was doing and everything, but she wasn't posting it. She just was like afraid to take that next step to like put it out there. But I'm like, but obviously you believe you have something if you're taking pictures of it.
Right.
Like, and there you're taking a picture of it. You're saying to yourself like, oh, this looks good. I'm going to show this to somebody and maybe they'll want to buy it or whatever, So I was telling her at the brunch, we actually ended up making her a Facebook right then and there. We made her a Facebook business page. We uploaded her pictures. She did it with her business name. And we were like, okay, look, you got your business, girl. Now all you do is get an LLC. Like, get your little clientele up and get your LLC. But what you're not going to do is like let fear keep you from starting it, because fear is just it's make believe. Like, it's just meant to hold you back. That's all it is. Like, what are you actually afraid of? You're gonna put it out there and nobody's gonna buy it. Okay, so what? Like, like you know what I mean? But taking that step and putting it out there, like, what are we afraid of? You know what I mean? Like, when I was doing those classes, okay, nobody shows up, or like you said, one person shows up. Okay, somebody thought you were valuable enough to show up.
Right, that's one person. That's one more person.
Exactly. Like, so what? Just do it.
I get it. I promise. I do understand the fear. I understand the doubt. I understand the negative talk and all those things. But once you get past that, like if you're able to get past that, which everyone is able, we all have it in us to get past the doubt and the fear and the to really walk into who we're supposed to be, to really actually use our gifts they are intended to be used. But sometimes we need those sisters. Sometimes we need that touch in them.
Exactly. To get you feeling good, get you out of that shell.
Someone to grab your hand and be like, hey, sis, I got you. Like, look, you set up. And look, you already got 3 likes.
She was like, she started crying, and it wasn't like it was just me helping her at the brunch. And that's what made it so dope, because since it was a smaller brunch, I think I only had maybe 15, 20 people there. We all were helping her. We were all giving her ideas. We were
Yes.
all telling her like different things and vice versa. Like there was another girl, she was like, well, I'm really good at organizing. And I was like, okay, you're saying this out loud because you feel like you should do it as a business, right? She was like, yes. I was like, girl, I need that service. I suck
Right.
at organizing. I was like, I would pay you to do that. And if I'm saying I would do it, I'm pretty sure there's like 20 million other people that would pay you to do it. So
Listen,
sorry.
that's literally
Yeah.
all it is. If you have something that you are good at, if you have a skill set, if you have a passion, if you have anything that motivates you, drives you, or that you know that it's a solution to a problem,
Right.
put it out there because I promise you somebody is looking for that solution to
Yes.
pass that problem and
Yes.
they're waiting for you.
Yep.
They're waiting for you. They're out here. And you created a safe space for these people to come, and they might not even known that when they were getting there, they were going to be leaving with
Yeah.
a whole business page or a whole
Yes.
business idea or the inspiration or the motivation to actually get started. So that's a movement.
Yeah.
It's encouraging these people and especially these women to get out here and to walk into purpose. Man, I love you too. I love you. I promise you, and I hope that you will walk into purpose. It is Women's History.
Right.
It was a girl
Right.
phase. So,
Right. Right. I love y'all. Most definitely. And honestly, yes, what you said is 100%. It's Women's History Month. Shout out to the men. I cut mostly men, so most of my
right.
closest friends are men. But women, we need people to come into our lives and say, like you said, you got this. Good job. And to highlight different people, like your purpose, you just putting these different women on this platform. I'm grateful for it. It lets me know, like, okay, you taking the right step in your purpose. You just got an interview with Lindsey A of VA. Girl, come on, keep it going. So it's like we need that just like men need that as well. But you are creating a platform for us where we can all come together and say, thank you, Lindsey, for connecting us. Because now there might be a woman out there that's like, oh, I'm shy and I want to start a business. I need to find one of her bunches ASAP.
Exactly.
So exactly. It's just all about purpose and, alignment and putting people in the right place at the right time. So
It
yes.
definitely is. And I can say, like, for you, from when I met you, what was it, 2019 to now, I've seen your growth, I've seen your expansion, I've seen you kind of come out of your shell. And you even said it when we met. You're like, I'm working on coming out of my shell. And I've actually been able to see it, whether it's via social media. And it's been so dope to actually witness the evolution of where you were to where you are now. Because I know I didn't meet you when you got started, but you were still trying to figure out some things. Just to we had a quick conversation, it was like maybe 10 minutes, and then we kept on going. But I remember we connected on social media, and from there I was just like, "Oh, she's doing brunches, okay, brunch."
Yes, and I have to start them up again. You're gonna have to come to one in person. You'll be the first one I send an invite to.
Yes, no, love me a mimosa. I am definitely down for that. I'll always reach out when I have these girls. Whenever we can bring back in-person events and I can bring my girls together, I will definitely be happy you come and speak over their lives and tell them about your journey because I've heard the story. I love the story. I think it's so important for girls to hear. But yes, how can the people get in contact with Girl That Fades?
So Girl That Fades is on Instagram as @_Girl That Fades. I'm not sure if you guys can see it on the screen at the bottom. I'm on Facebook @Girl That Fades. And if you go to the link on my Girl That Fades Instagram, you can actually see my website to book an appointment or, just to stay in touch. So whatever you guys need, it's just Girl That Fades on everything. I will pop up. You'll see my face.
Are you taking new clients? Because I know people out here need to pitch in those fades and everything.
Yes, I am taking new clients. I do recommend people book a week in advance, sometimes 2 weeks if it's on a Friday or a Saturday, just because those days book up early. So to make sure you get in there. But yes, always taking new clients. I love my new clients.
Yes, I love that too. And because you said you have the vacancy in your double suite,
Yes.
you're looking to fill that as well. How can the people get in
Yeah.
contact with you if
So,
they're ready to get your chair?
yes, if you want to look into renting out a chair and Girls That Fade, a luxury grooming suite, I have to say luxury grooming suite, you can contact me on Instagram, Facebook, email girlsthatfade@gmail.com. Whatever you need, just hit me up and say, hey, I'm interested in coming and checking out the space. I want to learn more about renting a booth. And yeah, we can talk. And I'm doing booth rental, and I'm also thinking about doing commission as well. So yeah, because I'm open to training since I'm doing classes, so I can train, put you on commission, and we can work your way up. So yeah.
I love it. When is the next class?
So right now I don't have a next class schedule. It's going to be sometime in probably May, because I'm trying to do them about 2 months apart. So it's going to be coming, like, you guys should see a flyer for it soon. We're going to try and do it in May. So yeah. Yep.
I'm here for all the things. Bria does the brunches. She got the lounge, the luxury lounge. Let me make sure I put that luxury in there.
I meant sweet.
Luxury suite. Soon to be franchise barbershops all over the U.S. Okay.
Luxury barbershop.
Yeah, one-on-one classes, group classes,
Yes.
motivational speaker, women empowerment person, business starter extraordinaire. I'm here for all the things that you are doing and all the things that you are going to do. I think that you are amazing. I think that you are phenomenal.
I think you are phenomenal as well. Thank you.
Like I said before, I love that you are just really coming into your own now, and you are out here for these women barbers, to be that safe haven, to be that safe space, to be like, hey sis, I see you, I support you, you can do it. That's important. It's always going to be important to fix your woman, to fix your sister's crown, to be there for each other, to encourage each other. We don't even have to all be doing the same things. To be out here motivating and pushing the next woman to be her best self, and pushing the next man to be his best self too. It's not just about us. We all out here together. We all have to push each other. We all have to motivate each other. And I just think that what you do is so cool. Like I said,
thank you. I love you.
Thank you. I'm so grateful that you were able to come and chat with me this evening. It has been a great conversation. Do you have anything to leave with the people?
The only thing I can say is whatever it is that you want to do, just do it. That's the advice I'm going to leave you guys with. Do it. That's my final words. Do it.
Whatever it is, do it.
Pick up your phone and go to whatever you post, whatever you want to post. Go buy the LLC. Go do it. Just do it.
Do your LLC yourself. Just go on your state website and figure out how to do the LLC. Please do not use Zoom or pay anyone to get your LLC.
Exactly. Virginia Business, go right to that website, Virginia Business One Stop. Go right on ahead.
Super simple, right?
Yeah.
I want to thank everybody for tuning in this evening. I want to thank Bria, aka Girl That Fades, for coming and joining in this conversation, chatting with me about life and business. And I hope that you guys tune in next week as we have another special lovely lady as we continue going into Women's History Month. And I will catch y'all next Wednesday. Bye.